Welcome everyone. Today we have the November 14th big update for Dota Underlords. In this update, we'll go through some of the gameplay and some of the changes. There are quite a few big changes. Firstly, with the gameplay, the changes over here, the biggest change other than spiderlings and N6 jumping, it's the round damage. It is back because the game was being too long for most players. It was taking 50 to an hour. And having round damage means the games will be much shorter. There's two things this favors. Firstly, what is round damage? It is 1 damage per round every 10 rounds of the game. So how it works is it's 0 damage for round, at the start round to round 10. After round 10, you will take 1 damage just by losing. After round 20, you will take 2 damage additional to whatever you take. You still take Underlord damage if Underlord survives. You still take unit damage if they survive. This used to fasten the pace of the game, rewarding players who rolled instead of leveling up. And also, just game finishes so much faster. Some finish at 30 minutes, some finish at 40 minutes. It's a good approach, but it does punish some of the builds which comes mature a little later. Especially say you're going for scrappy inventors, you can't find your techies, or if you're going for a crucial ace unit, you can't find your troll warlord. This is more punishing. Overall, I like the direction because it reduced the time it takes for a match. Secondly, the gel system. Yes, what's happening is it was over punishing the alliance like scrappies and inventors, and other alliances almost unaffected because there's so many of them, say assassins and hunters. So what it did is they did two things. They changed the way gel works, so they can gel multiple units from one alliance. Also, they will have a fixed gel of 1 ace unit per day, so it won't be like multiple ace units, but there's one that will be taken. So it's like today is the day you don't touch this alliance. Today is the day this alliance is really favored, and that will be pretty interesting. I like they're changing up the gel. The system for gelling units is that there will likely be tier 1, 2 of them, tier 2, 3 of them, tier 3, 2 bands. So something looks like this because they try to average things out. So across the tier, from tier 1 to tier 4, there's likely to be 2 bands or 3 bands. And tier 5, only 1 of them. So because of that, this adds a little more like playability because some of the popular lines, like say today, the Heartless was really popular and 3 of them are jailed. It takes you away from the Heartless. Also, the few humans were jailed. If humans were super powerful, this also helps. Also, 2 of the healers. Oh my. What, you can't even go healers? Oh no. Excuse me. No, you can still go healers. Plenty of them. Actually, wait a minute. You can't go healers today. They jailed 1, 2, 3. They jailed all of them. There's only 2 healers left. And you can't go, yeah, it shows what you can go, what you can't go. That's pretty interesting. So notice here there's like a cross. You can't even touch healers today. Interesting. So addition to that, a lot of the units, or few of the units, have changed alliance in this patch as well. Next part, let's follow through the order. So we're going through the Underlord changes. The Underlord used to scale their spells and abilities and damage with leveling up. As you level up your character, you can put more units on the board, higher rates for better units, and you also level up for stronger Underlord. This no longer is the case. So Underlord scales naturally according to the rounds. So it's round 20, they scale up a little bit. Round 40, they go even higher. Because it's basically they felt Underlords doing too much damage. Now they have rescaled them to the old version's rank 8. What that means is Underlord will never reach their true potential compared to before. Before you can easily get to level 9, level 10 and do lots of damage. But to compensate for that, they also changed a bit of the Underlord skills. Simply because Underlord was doing too much and it felt like Underlord was basically the crucial piece. And that was not an RNG factor, but rather it's determined at the start of the run. So people didn't like that. And with this, it brings more variety and it allows us to consider rolling instead of leveling too quickly. So again, they mentioned about rolling versus leveling. This way there's less incentive for you to level up quickly just for Underlord or just for additional rates. Look at the Underlord changes. N6 had a few changes. Some of those are good, some of those are so-so. I haven't tested the game yet, but I believe those changes do favor her a little more, especially with Chaotic Hunter. It started with 3 shots, go back to 1, now it's back to 2, that's where it should be. Phantom Pain seems to be too strong before, and it's basically nerfed to half. Before, every level you get 2 armor and you can get up to 20 armor. Now, the maximum you can get is 8 armor, because you can only get to level 8 with N6. So this skill might need to change up, because this is nerfed to the ground. But one change is the, where was it? The Phantom Pain. Where did she go? Here we go. So, hey, I was reading Phantom Pain. Pure Pain. So, I was calling Phantom Pain is this one. So, Pure Pain is the base spell where Phantom Pain uses, because Phantom Pain will not be active if the Pure Pain target dies. Now, with the change of AI, the N6 will target the highest HP enemy. So with that change, it allows us to kind of benefit mostly from Phantom Pain, but the Phantom Pain is massively nerfed. So I think in comparison, it is still a nerf to Phantom Pain, instead of feeling that it is a gain for the Pure Pain and Phantom Pain combination. And the 6 Golem got a little buff, well, quite a sizable buff. And Hogan had some interesting changes. So hype, this and that, we'll leave it to it. The cooldown for supercharge is increased, so that means, you know, he'll get more, he'll cast less of the supercharge, and he'll get less from the attack speed gain. Some of the ultimates are set to 22 seconds, so 22 seconds after the round start, they should be able to use those. After burn not burns the cells in adjacent to the target cell. So I believe we used to burn the whole 9 cell across it, now it only burns the adjacent ones. Is that the case? We'll double check on that. Not the biggest one though. The bigger one here is this. Mortal Armor only ignites adjacent attackers. That means only affects melee units or range units that's in front of him. And also it doesn't work against magic immune, which is good, because units with BKB were getting burned, and you know, we don't want that. The biggest change for Hogan is this one. Keep it secret. Whenever a unit is set on fire, they now are silenced for 1.5 seconds. It used to be 3 seconds, because fire is 3 seconds. And this can happen again after the fire expires. So this effect can happen again every time the fire expires. What that means is fire has 3 seconds and silence is 1.5 seconds. That means if a unit is set on fire, it's only 1.5 seconds of a silence, then they have 1.5 seconds to cast before they set on fire again if they're still attacking Hogan. Also, they have to be right in front of him. So that's a lot of factors taken. Units are no longer 100% silenced. Half of the duration of the fire means 1.5 seconds they have time to cast, and also no longer affect the spell immunity units. So this is not a guaranteed pick for Hogan anymore. I think what we're gonna see is a lot of shift back to N6, because this was the spell that makes Hogan super strong. I want to test it out. I want to see how people make it effective and how strong I can build the N6 build. So previously you can get silenced to death, and like for 40 seconds my mage never cast. Now you always get a chance to cast, because the fire is 3 seconds and you only silence for 1.5, and you can't be silenced again while the first fire is still on fire. Oh, at least that's what I think, unless they reset the fire expiry, but I don't think that's the case. We'll double check that as well. Hero changes. Anti-mage burns more hype for all the levels. You think it's a buff to assassins, but wait till you see the rest. Faceless Void. The Chrono Cube massively reduced to AoE stun duration, and this is a nerf to assassins, nerf to any builds that wants to stun. Opponent's attack speed is increased by a little bit, but you don't get a Void to, you know, do damage unless he's 2-star with good items. You get him to stun units for longer duration. It's quite a nerf to primordials, mages, especially assassins. IO used to be really annoying, because IO revives a unit, and when IO revives Lone Druid, he summons another bear. Or, you know, IO revives like Void, he comes and stuns you. So with the change of cooldown, they keep the existing cooldown. That means, you know, you don't get double bears no more, and you don't just kind of abuse Refresher, Embrace, and get 4 bears because of that. which is a good change. It's a slight nerf to the druid, but much needed, I feel. Sometimes it's too broken. I lost to like 5 bears once. 100 with a refresher or something. Like 4 bears. It was too much. Keep Up the Light. Quite a bit of nerf. So he has to cast 1 second longer because channel time is 3 to 4 seconds. Damage is changed, lowered for all channeling duration. So all that means is after casting 1 second longer, he still does less damage at level 1. Level 2, level 3, slightly better. Slightly higher level 3, but he's casting 1 second longer and he does less damage. Overall, it is a nerf to Keeper. Here is the massive nerf to Assassins. One less assassin, and one of the critical early game assassin is Morphling. Morphling's mana cost to cast spells is increased, Morphling's tier is increased, so multiple nerf to Morphling. Only plus side is Morphling now gains more damage at level 2, quite a bit actually. And it doesn't say his health is increased, only damage is increased. He's more of a glass cannon, and he does benefit more because he's a mage now. You can run Morphling, Razor, and something else. Easy primordials, easy mages. Maybe a pack. So in general, it is a nerf to assassins massively. A buff to the mages, because mages is one more mages. Mages don't care what you are. You could be an ogre, mages take you. It's like ogre don't even cast spells that damage enemies, but ogre's cute and ogre buffs everyone. So mages is happy, assassin is quite affected. I want to test how strong Morphling is with mages. Today Razor is banned, but we can give it a try still. Next up, Reivew, a nerf to the hunters, because assassin and hunters had too many units. They were like immune to jail pretty much. Quite a bit of nerf to hunter because hunter used to enjoy the insects, and now with hunter to elusive, well, you can't go insect hunters unless you go Nyx. You can go Sand King and Broodmother, but it's not easy transition. You have to waste another slot, and Nyx is not that strong in the late game. A bit of the buff to Reivew and a bit of buff to his II, but overall, unless they change the 6 elusives, you just rarely run 6 elusives because the gang of stats is not as high in comparison to how much you lose for going into a major alliance. Well, I am happy to be proved wrong if anyone has a really good elusive game. The downside is elusive to majorly physical damage dealers, and warriors counter them, knights does well, scrappies counter them as well with their armor. So, big nerf to assassins, buff to mages, and, well, you can say buff to elusives, but, well, let's see how we go. Item changes. Helm of a Dying, so a bit of the tweaks here and there, nothing too special for Helm of a Dying. Smuggler is removed. This is pretty big because there were games that utterly destroyed when people find a really good item with Smuggler. Like, you know, I remember my Master of Menace around 10 with my Slug. It was pretty fancy. There's other games my enemy found a Sorcerer around 30. I was like, why are my units dying? Because, you know, they got minus 10 armor, which is a 4 Helpless Alliance. They also had 10 armor, which is like a warrior alliance for everyone in the front. It was too much for me. I like it. And yeah, Smuggler was a really interesting item, but it just maybe they'd make it to tier 3 or tier 4, but tier 2 is too good. So overall, quite a bit of changes. Mostly, game will be faster because round damage is coming back. Secondly, new gel system. We can see it today. Can't even play healers. And Heartless is massively affected. Next up, change of Underlord. Much weaker compared to what they were before. And lastly, the change of alliance. Morphling and Reivew are the biggest change. Those who suffered are assassins and hunters. So, let me know what you think about this patch, and if you have tested games, let me know what you find interesting and if something you want to try it out as well. Because it will be a tournament tomorrow, I really want to make a few games for the friends who will be participating or watching the tournament to know a little more of this new meta, which is 1 day before the tournament. Super excited actually. So, stay tuned for the tournament guys, and let me know in the comments what you think about this update. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be going into more games. Hopefully I can post to you guys some of the new interesting builds for the new patch. Thank you everyone.